For the last decade, I have had the pleasure of specializing in the treatment of obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD, and OCD-related conditions. It has been one of the greatest joys in my life to help people with OCD change the way they respond to anxiety and teach them how to live a life where anxiety doesn't make their decisions. When I started my internship as a marriage and family therapist and OCD specialist, I was eager to help my patients with OCD manage their obsessions and compulsions. However, I quickly realized that they needed help with more than their obsessions and compulsions. What I observed was that these wonderfully kind, smart, hilarious, and talented human beings were also being tormented day in and day out by a deep sense of guilt, shame, and humiliation. They reported spending an exorbitant amount of time criticizing and punishing themselves for the intrusive thoughts, feelings, sensations, images, and urges they experienced, and for the compulsive behaviors they performed to remove the anxiety and uncertainty that they felt. As each patient told me their OCD story, I could not help but feel deeply connected with them, as I had previously found myself in a similar situation. When I had battled an eating disorder, I spent hours every day mentally and physically calculating every single calorie I had eaten and compulsively exercising to remove the anxiety and uncertainty that tormented me. I engaged in relentless negative self-talk, self-doubt, and self-punishment, believing that is what I deserved and hoping that would keep me in line. During my treatment, I learned the importance of having a strong self-compassion practice, and to this day, I have found self-compassion to be the cornerstone of my long-term recovery. I started teaching my clients and patients with OCD every self-compassion tool I knew, and right before my eyes, I could see a transformation that still brings me to tears. People who treated themselves in ways they would never dream of treating even their worst enemy became people who treated themselves with kindness, loyalty, and acceptance. I have made it my mission to teach self-compassion and mindfulness skills to those who struggle with anxiety. I produce a podcast, your Anxiety Toolkit podcast, on which I interview world-renowned self-compassion researchers and mindfulness teachers, such as Paul Gilbert, Kristen Neff, Tara Brach, Dennis Tersch, and Stephen Hayes, discussing how to apply their research and practices to meet the needs of those with OCD. I also interview and pick the brains of some of the leading and most innovative clinicians and researchers in the field.